Alright, everyone. This is another return perform for me. Right now, it's going to be a reaction video for 6's Jiraiya vs. Kakuzu Isn't a Fair Fight video. I watched it before I started recording. Well, a few days ago. I got a little lazy and busy, and I couldn't do it. So, doing it right now. And, well, let's just say it's dog shit. Gonna go over all my reasoning for basically why he is extraordinarily wrong with his verdict for the video at the high end and at the low end. I'm gonna explain that at the end of the video, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
Jiraiya, one of the three legendary signing in the Toad Sage versus Kakuzu, the 90-year-old Jinchuriki hunter and a notorious mercenary. Does Pervy Sage really have what it takes to win? I'm just gonna spoil this now. The clear answer is yes. I often get a lot of questions from you guys about how Jiraiya and the other signings compare to some of the weaker Akatsuki members like Kakuzu. So in this video, I'll be going over why Jiraiya, even in base, would destroy Kakuzu. If you've been in the fandom for a while, then you should know it's become fairly common to see people exaggerate how strong characters like Kakuzu are. And on the flip side,
You mean exaggerate how strong Jiraiya is, and exaggerate how strong A is, and exaggerate how strong Minato is. They're all pretty weak, but I'll have a video coming out on that soon. Mainly on Kakuzu, and I will do one on Minato, probably, but I'm mainly going to do one on each Akatsuki member, not the Kage. Mainly because I don't see a lot of people talking about certain Akatsuki members. And, well, all of them as a whole.
there are people who completely exaggerate how weak Kakuzu is. And it's completely ridiculous. For this, I'll be primarily sticking to the manga and data books, but I'll make sure to include some stuff from other materials where it's relevant. I'd also like to ask you to leave a like on the video and subscribe just to help the channel out. With that being said, let's get started by going over just how strong Kakuzu and Jiraiya both are and compare how they and their arsenals would do in a fight. So, like I said before, you'll often see a lot of people exaggerate Kakuzu's minimal showings to exaggerate how strong he was. So, the best place to start here would be by debunking this sadly common misconception that Kakuzu, despite losing to Naruto with a small QB amp before he even trained to...
Surprise attack. It was a surprise attack, and don't give me that he can see from all angles. No, it was a surprise attack. Just because you can see everything around you doesn't mean you can see everything all at once. Hell, look at characters like Neji and Hinata. Well, not Hinata, but look at characters like Neji and characters like Kaguya. Neji couldn't dodge Kidomaru's arrow just because he had the Byakugan. He couldn't see it. He was able to see it, and he was able to come up with a plan while it was going to hit him, but he wasn't able to move fast enough to react to it. Kakuzu, on the other hand, once Naruto got close enough, Kakuzu was able to see it and see it coming because, well, one, Naruto was yelling once he got close, and, well, two, Kakuzu is pretty damn fast. I'll explain a little later, mainly because he makes this point quickly, but he also doesn't explain why Kakuzu lost here. He doesn't really... His Kakuzu section is pretty damn short. in fact, this whole video is short, you'll realize why I hate this video pretty quickly.
To learn Sage Mode is secretly way faster than Minato and Casey and one Naruto, and the strongest man in the Akatsuki and the Kishimoto instead of,
Well, I mean, there is stuff to say that it was rushed. I do believe that, well, not believe. I do know that Kishimoto was sick at the time when writing this arc in particular. Um, so I, so yes, I do think that there was probably going to be something else going on here, which he could have just had someone else write the arc for him, put in a few key notes, but essentially, Kakuzu was taken down by someone attacking him in the back. Naruto says twice that Kakuzu is too fast and uses a diversion on him the first time and almost lands the Rasen Shuriken if he did not fail with the Rasen Shuriken and its chakra and everything. But essentially, Naruto would have won if, well, Kakuzu would have won if he got his tendrils out of the ground. Basically, that's my thought of, basically, Kakuzu's tentacles were in the ground. He couldn't take them out fast enough before he could react, and bam.
telling us as much or keeping him around in the long term to show us this stuff.
I mean, well, apparently being a Naruto fan also means that you don't do research. Let's do a little quick Google search. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this now, it's basically to help, well, not help, but it's essentially to point jabs at how little people understand about this arc in particular, mainly with Kakuzu and Hidan. Mainly with the scaling and the overall writing. The arc was extraordinarily rushed. You'll figure this out soon enough, but basically, this is how I learned about the information.
Was stated to have his body being taken by Orochimaru to be Orochimaru's new vessel, and the Akatsuki were on the move for Jinchuriki. What kind of arc this the Mortal Duo arc to what went on behind the scenes as to why this arc ended as quickly as it did when it was running weekly and weekly Shonen Jump all the way back in 2006. 12 years ago when this arc formally made its debut, spanning chapters 311 all the way to 342, this arc immediately grabbed fans. Asuma's death was a total shock. Naruto was pulled from the focus of the story, much like Hunter x Hunter when Togashi pulled Gon from the previous arc showed just how much danger the Kyuubi chakra posed. Next, from their debut, everything about whatsoever trouble. Most importantly, but we've seen Kakashi struggle to destroy two of Kakuzu's hearts, and the guy still had spare hearts to use. He was the final boss for an arc who had several extra health bars and all maxed out stats, and it felt like the current roster fighting him didn't have quite enough experience points to take him down. Then, just out of nowhere, Naruto shows up, and all of Kakuzu's hearts were conveniently placed in one area, making it ideal for Naruto to finish him in one shot. It would be almost a decade before we learned the truth behind Kishimoto's decision. Back in 2015, while promoting the Naruto New Era project, Shueisha Kishimoto had several small events lined up for promotion by the author, talking about the extension of the Naruto story with the series of side projects which included Naruto Gaiden, Naruto the Last, and the Naruto Hiden novels. It was during one of these exhibits that went up just before Naruto Gaiden was slated to come out that Kishimoto spoke at one of these exhibits. It was at one of these extensive interviews, this one being from the Book of Lightning, an extensive and exclusive book that was made available at the Naruto exhibit in Japan, that we learned why this arc was rushed at the end. And it's here that I'm going to go over Kishimoto's quote, and Kishimoto says, "That would be the time that I slipped a disc, back when I was drawing the Kakuzu fight, back when my lungs weren't in great shape either. Whenever I got tired, I would be wheezing as if I had pneumonia. When I would cough, it would feel like my lower back was hurting. It was tough. In the end, they had to publish the pencil versions of the fight in the Weekly Shonen."
So basically, that's the idea. I pulled up this video mainly because I felt it would be a quicker version of, instead of me having to pull it up on screen and find all these files for it. I mainly thought it'd be a little easier and better for you all to understand that basically the end of the arc was rushed, and I think that Kishimoto was just trying to get the arc moving, mainly due to, well, him being sick. So, my point being, Naruto fans don't know their shit. They don't know their series, and, well, to say the very least, unlike Oda, who did ask, I do believe it was Kishimoto, or, shoot. With Kishimoto, so although it did happen later in life, Kishimoto did help out with Dressrosa in One Piece. So for starters, you can't say that writers wouldn't help each other out. It has happened, and with the health problems, I mean, he could literally just ask someone, because I mean, who wouldn't? It's kind of a dick thing to do if someone's sick and you're not going to help them. So, essentially, do a little bit more research, and you'll find out that basically whatever Six says is completely wrong. And about the whole keeping him until later, Sasori could have been kept till later. Data could have been kept till later. You see this a lot with all the villains in Naruto. Zabuza could have been kept till later, be used as a villainous rival to Kakashi, although we have Obito. He is redeemed at the end. We don't really have a villain rival for any of the characters in this series, which is, well, one of my many gripes with it, as there's no true foils for anyone. They all just die, and then that's sort of it for them.
Decided to convey this
But
instead through one or two vague showings. No, but really though, it's really incredibly dishonest, but
it's dishonest to constantly not explain things and not do a whole lot of research. But we're 1 minute in and I've constantly talked for 15 minutes.
You'll see a lot of people try to say that because Kakuzu reacted to Yukito's paw before
Yes, that is pretty impressive. But let's see what you have to say about that.
he got trampled during their fight, that this somehow leads to the conclusion he's faster than Casey and Naruto.
No, it's not that he's faster, it's that he's at the same speed. For all those who don't know, uh, full, uh, full-tailed beast Yugito, or, I forget the name of the two tails, but essentially, it would come out to a 20 times increase. Edo Yugito, had two tails popping out of her when she chased after Killer Bee and Naruto, slashing Killer Bee and essentially hitting him at the same time he hit her, with it basically amounting to both of them having flesh wounds. Basically, it would essentially amount to just and plus Killer Bee and Naruto at the time equal speed, due to Killer Bee constantly being shown to be able to keep pace with KCM1 Naruto. KCM1 Naruto is constantly showing that he's being able to master his speed, particularly at the end of the fight that he had with him immediately dodging his light speed attacks. So, essentially, essentially, Kakuzu would be on the same level as KCM1 Naruto in terms of speed and reaction time. But if you want to go for something on the level of him running, then maybe. The running, why, you know what I mean.
Who's getting pressed by Obito's enhanced Edo Jinchuriki during the war.
They're enhanced because of the perception from the Renegon, allowing them to see from all the other eyes of the Edos, and the Sharingan, giving them all of Obito's visual abilities. They don't actually have them, and it's a dumb thing to say otherwise because, well, just like the paths of pain, they're all just visualizations of them through the chakra rods. They don't get the same boost as the main body that has otherwise characters like otherwise characters like, say, some of the weaker pains wouldn't be tracked like how Konohamaru tracks one of the weaker pains and one-shots it. And you might say, well, pain was fatigued. Well, no, it was at the beginning of the pain attack, and he completely dodged, and he was overall dodging Konohamaru, dodging being in quotes, heavy quotes, but that's essentially it. Konohamaru essentially dodged one of the slowest targets in the series. Well, not in the series. You get what I mean. Konohamaru doesn't have a whole lot of speed feats, but this is impressive for him, but it's also a heavy thing to say that that they're all equal in speed, which Six has said before, including saying that Kakuzu is weaker than Pain, which I'm getting into a huge tirade here, rambling, but I'll essentially explain with it going like this. Kakuzu equal KCM1 Naruto. Pain equal to Six-Tail Naruto at maximum level when he is tired. This means QB Cloak Naruto is faster than Pain because, number one, that's Six-Tails. Naruto in KCM also says that he's stronger than he was before, which would include Sage Mode and the boost it gives him, which would be a 10 times boost. The Six-Tails QB avatar boost thing, it essentially made him 60 times, well, not 60 times. It essentially made him stronger and faster than he was in Sage Mode because the Path of Pain, the Diva Path, wasn't able to do a whole lot physically or, well, speed-wise. It was constantly hiding from the Six-Tails. So, essentially, whether you like it or not, KCM1 Naruto is above Pain by a pretty steep amount, as the Six-Tails was, well, I essentially think of the Nine-Tails boosts like this, and along with the other Tailed Beasts boost. They're all pretty equal to Curse Mark due to One-Tail Naruto and Curse Mark Sasuke at the end of part 1 being semi-relative. Curse Mark Sasuke at the end of the fight with Cloak Naruto was still pretty hurt. So, after all that, I would say that it's a semi-relative fight. Well, semi-relative boost, sorry. So, basically, what I'm trying to say here is that it's around a 10 times boost, and for all those wondering, yes, I am referring to the Drobo statement of the Curse Mark, which would increase, well, which would be a factor of 10 per each tail. That's why I said Yugito's boost when she was a Biju was 20 times, because her Biju is the two tails. And that would be the same for every single tailed beast. Naruto would get 90 times increase in KCM 2. In KCM 1, I believe it's a 8 times boost. Well, no, it's either a, yeah, I believe it's a 70 times boost, mainly due to the fact that, well, a 70 or a 77, yeah, 77 times boost, mainly due to the speed calc everyone gets when doing KCM 1 versus KCM 1 versus A, that whole dodge feat. So him blitzing A's attack, which is his fastest attack, it would essentially make Naruto arguably, well, not arguably, this would essentially be 77 times, and the dramatic boost Naruto gets in KCM 2, where he's able to essentially dog on all of the tailed beast and be on, well, not be on, but be able to match Jubi Obito with all of the other tailed beasts' powers combined. Along with using Sage mode. I essentially think that it's like, think of it like this, right? Well, I already explained it to you, but I'm rambling. Let's just continue with the video. I'll explain afterwards more of my points.
For one, welcome
For all your embroidery needs.
Oh, fucking nuts. Alright. So, let's go.
react to the slowest form of Yugito. This is no
Why is it the slowest form of Yu-Gi-Oh?
way proves he'd be able to do this.
Okay, you're not gonna explain why it's the slowest form? Jesus, you're lazy. I'm gonna look in the comment section. He doesn't. Okay, I'm gonna go over the comments after the end of the video. I'm not. Alright, stopping right there. I'm not gonna go over the full video, mainly because I already know how it ends. And let's just say I'm cutting it short, just like how he does with kakuzu scaling. Really fucking sucks. Let's get into it.
Seemed to base or V2 Yugito when she was alive. On top of this, unlike regular Edo Tensei Shinobi, the Edo Jinchuriki are said to have become much faster and stronger than they were.
Let's see the scan he pulls up. They can use their shared vision to time attacks to great advantage. Their ocular powers are enhancing their Jinchuriki abilities. It's that Sharingan. That's how they're able to track us so closely. They probably know where we are, do we? Naruto, they got both Bichu powers and 2 types of ocular powers. Yo. B, let me talk to Naruto. Nagato is under chakra control. This must be the same. We have to stop each Jinchuriki one at a time. So, essentially, it's just saying that it's enhancing their overall coordination and, well, their abilities. As for starters, essentially think about getting ganged up on by by 6 really powerful people, and they all are wearing sunglasses that allow them to see in slow motion and be able to analyze everything you do in real time, in slow motion, and they are all able to see from from each other's point of view. That's really cracked. So they be able to see if you're trying to do anything tricky or not. And each one also has their own weapons and fighting abilities. One has lava, one has steam, which increases their power. One can fly, one can... basically, what I'm saying is 6 is using the scan disingenuously. Well, not disingenuously, but basically what I'm saying is 6 is not explaining his reasoning at all. Sorry if it sounds like I'm being weird right now. It's really cold.
Due to Obito outfitting all of their vision while also controlling their moves. This shouldn't come as a surprise either, but since the Sharingan by itself has been said to provide an overall boost to the
yeah, it provides a boost like everything in Naruto. We see this when a really good example of Sasuke using this as a boost would be when he uses it to when he uses the Mangekyo Sharingan against A. Not a big deal. He uses it to increase his power. It doesn't. How does this apply to the Edo though? It's just it's like I said earlier with the pains, it's basically a hologram in their eyes, allowing you to see them. They don't actually have the Rinnegan, they don't actually have the Sharingan. It doesn't provide them the boost. And plus they're...
due to its kinetic vision many times over. You will sometimes hear people say it only provides a boost to the user's perception and reaction speed due to the way the kinetic vision is described. However, we're told by sources like the manga and first data book that Sharingan users still move and attack faster with kinetic vision than without it. So as you can see...
Why not? Let's see. Let's look at the translation he has here on screen. Seen through something and duplicating its principles for oneself. The power of insight hidden inside these eyes discerns the mechanics of all ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu without restriction, putting it above the crowd even by dojutsu standards. Furthermore, one can even see the patterns of their opponent's movements and attacks, striking firmly without fear and counterattack, avoiding lethal blows when defending, evading from offensive moves, and so forth. One's combat ability is significantly improved with all kinds of aspects, an awe-inspiring ability for which clairvoyant eyes of heaven would be appropriate name indeed. So yeah, it's basically just saying that all your abilities are enhanced, and it talks about it being able to see in the future, which I would bring up the A thing if I was 6 as a example of it being shown in the manga, but I don't. He's just very disappointing when it comes to this video. He could do a lot better, but he won't, because he's a lazy scaler.
There are many reasons why the kakuzu wank just doesn't work.
It's not a wank if you don't represent your side very well, and also if you are telling the truth, and also if you're not using panels that don't mean anything. This entire scan he pulled up, all it means is that it increases their ability by seeing into the future. And he didn't explain why the Sharingan boost would affect the pains, which I gave my reasoning for, and this schmuck can't.
And as I said before, it should be obvious how dishonest it is to say kakuzu with
It's dishonest to say it doesn't work.
some secret Obito slayer that just got defeated by...
No one's saying he's above Obito. Even look at the biggest kakuzu stand out there, Noodles. He's never said Kakuzu would win against Obito. He's only said Pain. I wonder why.
Before joining Level Ninja through teamwork and trickery, like we didn't see Konoha team up and fail to cheese Pain in the very next arc.
Let's see. Kakashi is said to be a threat by Pain. Jiraiya is having a hard time against the 3 weakest, with one being beaten by Konohamaru. a child? I don't know. You tell me. One man is tricked in one man is tricked into thinking that he killed the real guy and is struck behind the back. And another is constantly has all his duplicates ganged up on and loses several times within the span of just an hour and uh, is constantly put on the brink of defeat and finally loses uh, when the main character gets a power up and fully heals. And he picks some of the weakest bodies to use. There's a lot of fresh corpses Nagato could have used that would have given him a better chance at winning instead of just a bunch of randos. Like the third Raikage.
All the way. We begin to talk about how strong Kakuzu really is. So all jokes aside.
Oh wow. Wait.
All the way. We begin to talk about how strong Kakuzu really is.
So you didn't go over how. So the entire time you were talking about this, you didn't explain a damn thing. And you also didn't put down a reference for how fast he actually is. Okay, good for you.
So, all jokes aside, Kakuzu, like the other Akatsuki members, was a pretty prominent and imposing villain when he was first introduced to the series.
No, you don't. You literally shit on him every time he's brought up.
And while things like having fought Hashirama once and being able to use all 5 changes in chakra nature aren't a big deal now, those accolades were almost unheard of when we were first introduced to Kakuzu. It should also be noted that it is true all of his opponents needed to team up and work together in order to.
And they came up with a brilliant plan to try and do so, but Kakuzu was too durable. Unironically. And too fast. Naruto's clones couldn't run up on him straight ahead. And he completely destroyed them.
However, his feasible showings against people like Kakashi also often get exaggerated quite a bit. For one, a lot of people seem to think Kakuzu was clearly superior to the Kakashi he fought in nearly every way. However, outside of combat skill, this just simply isn't true. You'll often see people use Kakuzu's kick on Kakashi while he was in the.
Which I do say, yes, that is valid, but also it is still an impressive feat as he was laying completely flat on the ground head first and got up before Kakashi could stop the Chidori. So, it's something.
However, Kakashi was.
Which the Chidori was still active after Kakashi was kicked and is only a foot away from the tree that he's slammed through. So, your point exactly?
Clearly just caught by surprise here. It's important to note
True.
that while the lightning blade does greatly increase Kakashi's movement speed, that is due to him accelerating and building up speed as he travels, and he had only moved like 2 steps when Kakuzu intercepted him. It's also important to note that Kakashi also landed a much more successful sneak attack on Kakuzu, using his lightning blade literally right before this, taking out one of his hearts in the process. It's also not very consistent to say Kakuzu is superior to Kakashi, even if you ignore the anime where they swap hands. In light of Kakashi
acting like the anime and manga are in the same canon. Huh. Isn't that ratty? To try and say that's something that doesn't exist in the main manga. and isn't said by Kishimoto to be canon, or certain parts aren't canon, including that little fight. Huh. It's almost like you have an agenda to push involving scaling. But hey, I'm not here to talk about that. 6th video coming up soon about how he's a horrible scaler.
Kakashi's performance as the fight continued. Even after spending a lot of chakra using multiple lightning blades, Kakashi
he used it. Yeah, he only used it once. Once when Kakuzu used the diamond morph. And another when Kakuzu shot the barrage of lightning at them. And another to yeah, that's basically it. He only used it twice. Wait, no, 3 times. That was the 3rd time was when he was running at Hidan with the Chidori and Kakuzu blitzed him. But that's beside the point.
Counter Kakuzu's ninjutsu on multiple occasions, like when he negated his lightning style.
No, that's only one occasion. Again, 6 is wrong here, blatantly.
False darkness with 2 lightning blades, or when he blocked his wind enhanced fire style using just his
Oh yeah, this. Yeah, he did block it. But also, multiple times implies that it was done more than once. This is 2 times, which, fine, minor point. Yay.
his water style. Kakashi was also the first opponent to survive Hidan and Kakuzu's combo onslaught, and while he struggled
That's not him blocking and or countering it. So again, you're wrong here.
to do so, this should still make it questionable if Kakuzu could even defeat Kakashi by himself. Kakashi's raw power with his lightning blades was
Let's see. Kakashi is blitzed by Kakuzu's tendrils when before Naruto shows up and saves the day.
It's also impressive here, with him dealing the final death blow to Kakuzu after already destroying one of his hearts earlier in the fight. Kakashi being this strong in terms of raw power is also fairly consistent, seeing as he was implied to be around the same level before this. Being uncertain who was stronger between himself and Naruto after watching him defeat Kakuzu, all of it alludes to the fact that Kakashi is probably
Oh yeah, but I'm not gonna explain Naruto versus Kakuzu at all.
around Naruto's level. Kakashi also muses after the fight that he could have defeated Kakuzu with Kamui if he needed to, and that he wasn't even forced to use it. So the main point here is while Kakuzu displayed a lot,
Hold on, let me.
wasn't even forced to use it. So
That's because, well, let's see. Kishimoto, if you don't recall, sick. If you decided to research Naruto at all, you'd know that. So, let's go over it again. Kakashi constantly in bed whenever he uses the Mangekyo Sharingan and is only able to not pass out from chakra loss near the before the end of the near the end of the 5 Kage Summit. That's the only time he's able to use Kamui when uh, when he's able to use Kamui without, passing out. So, let me put you in Kakashi's shoes. If I, someone who just passed out for an entire week after sniping off Datara's arm, I was unable to kill Datara or heavily damage him, and we know that Datara is still around at this time. What does that mean? Oh, that means I probably shouldn't use it again, considering I've been out for several weeks. And if I do it mid-fight and it fails against another Akatsuki member, one that I've said and one that Shikamaru has said, we don't have a lot of information on, well then, it wouldn't be very smart of me to do so. And they also had 1 week of prep time. Pretty fucking stupid of me to pass out during a big battle between a guy that I only managed to hurt because he turned his skin into a element that I could pierce with Chidori. I only hurt him because he essentially turned on paper skin mode for my element type that I'm a master in. And he didn't notice that it was a diversion, so I could do so. Six makes no sense here.
So the main point here is while Kakuzu displayed a lot of skill.
6, you give me the biggest headache out of everyone.
Naruto, Kakashi, and Team Asuma, he ultimately wasn't much more powerful than Kakashi and Naruto at that
Do you explain why? No, because you're lazy.
point. With that out of the way, let's talk about Kakuzu's abilities and how they could help him in this fight. While Kakuzu's raw strength may not be that impressive,
It is impressive, you just fail to accurately analyze it. Oh my god, you are so lazy.
his ability to use all 5 chakra natures simultaneously on top of his quote-unquote immortality could...
It is immortality, especially when the character is shown to be stabbed through the heart multiple times and constantly come back. Along with literally being called an immortal duo. Obito's not called that. And he's lived a little bit longer than most of the Akatsuki. Dator doesn't call Sasori immortal. Let's just continue.
Pretty irritating for Jiraiya in this fight. Like I said earlier, Kakuzu was the first character we ever saw with the ability to use all 5 chakra natures. However, he does so through his forbidden technique, which lets him steal and manipulate the hearts of his enemies. Once they're incorporated into his yarn and given a mask, they can fight independently of Kakuzu and assist him in battle. However, since these techniques weren't even strong enough to overwhelm Kakashi,
they launched him through the air and sent him through a tree. Another one needed 2 of Kakashi's Raikiri or Chidori. I forget which one is used, but he needs 2 of those to match Kakuzu's lightning release. We don't know how strong his water release is, but comparing it to the other 2, it's probably as strong as them. We know his fire release is pretty strong, and we know his wind release is also more than likely on the same level as his wind release. as you do need, as seen with Naruto and Sasuke using their fighters, their Amaterasu and Rasen Shuriken combined to do a strong attack against Jubito. You need the right amount of chakra to make the combo attack work.
They won't be any more successful here. Kakuzu can also
Why not? Okay, you're not gonna explain? Great.
to heal injuries and fight in weird ways, and has other strong techniques like Diamond Morph, which drastically increases his durability. However,
By how much?
since both of these abilities fell victim to Kakashi's Lightning Blade, they really wouldn't do any better against a Rasengan from Jiraiya. Not saying that Jiraiya's Rasengan should just be able to eat through Diamond Morph no matter what, but since the databook says that Kakuzu can't move the hardened body part, he could put it all over his body, sure, but in the end, he'd have to.
He does show that he uses it across 3 parts of his body. The panel where Kakashi stabs him in the heart, so you can literally just say that he used it across all his body. It's shown in the panel that Kakuzu is, he's wearing his Akatsuki cloak at the time, but basically, Kakuzu is unable to move. God, you're lazy.
Take it off in order to attack Jiraiya at some point. So with Kakuzu's strength and comparatively minuscule arsenal out the way,
Dude, you haven't even gone over it. You haven't gone over his Jugon mode. You haven't gone over any of the features that his tentacles provide. You didn't go over any of the jutsu he has. You don't go over any of the things his mask has done. You went about 4 or 5 minutes of Kakuzu. No, you went looking at the timestamps you provided in the description. That would leave 3 total minutes. Wait, no, 4, adding in the Kakuzu hype section. And you put in 7 for Jiraiya. Well, that's pretty good comparison there. Wow, bud. Great. God, this video sucked. Alright, I'm done with this. I'm gonna look at the comments now. Well, alright, let's see. Boston Morgan, while I do agree with you on the winner, I still think you're downplaying Kakuzu a little. He was able to catch a swipe from a B2 mode Yugito and punch down those big-ass gates at the temple, so I do think physical strength is a little higher than what you said. You have him kill 5 times, and one of his hearts got destroyed by a lightning blade while he was off guard, which I think most characters would have died to it, as well as make another one taken out by hit on when Kakuzu and Kakashi and Shikamaru and Chochi, pretty bad spot. So either of those I could feel have done nothing about, and him getting one shot by Rasen Shuriken doesn't make him weak by any means. It's a damn Rasen Shuriken which are stupidly overpowered, and again I think most characters would not be able to tank a Rasen Shuriken. Still enjoyed the video and agree with you on your outcome. Just think you would have been a little tougher for Jiraiya than you. Horrible grammar, but I get the sentiment, and no, he would have. I like the sentiment, but he gets into a little bit more detail than 6 does. I do agree. Alright. You already know my opinion on Kakuzu versus Jiraiya from what I've said. Basically, it's a stump, no matter how you look at it. Jiraiya just loses in every facet. He's pretty ass. Well, that's it for the video. My next video is coming out this time week. I'm going to work on it I'm gonna work on it today. But that's enough about me. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Hit a like if you liked the video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell if you want to know when new content comes out. And I will see you next time. Bye.